Hey guys, I'm Sean with the Comics Pals. I'm here live at New York Comic Con 2019. It's Sunday. We are all super tired. We're ready for this thing to be over, but there's still a lot of fun to be had. And standing next to me right now is someone who I'm very excited to talk about. I'm here with editor from Haunted High Ons and an upcoming book by Bob Sally, Broken Gargoyles, Drena Jo. Drena, how are you doing today?
I'm tired. And as you can tell, I'm losing my voice, but I'll endure.
Thank you so much for agreeing to do this. What's the con been like? Every year I see you here with Dirk Manning. What's the energy been like this year?
This year it's been actually really crazy. Like everything's amped up just a little bit more. The more I know people, the more I can actually like get integrated more into the lingo and understanding what they're trying to say. I've picked up a few new clients this year, so that's pretty cool.
So
we're busy, man.
Every time I come by, it's just a wave with Dirk because it's so swamped.
Line the other day, like just a line right here, just wrapped around, and wow. I was like, "Who are you guys here for?" Dirk? No, I'm joking.
Is there someone famous over there?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So now you're an editor, as I mentioned at the top, and I have to admit to you right now, I am a complete novice when it comes to understanding exactly the responsibility of an editor. I think we all know sort of the basic stuff. Oh, I make sure that the dialogue makes sense and things like that. But I know that it's
But that's more of a proofreader type of editorial. Right. And then there's what we do with the comic books, which is creative consultation type of editorial. And the two main guys I work with is Bob Sally and Dirk Manning. And they're both so very unique in how they handle their books. And Dirk gives it to me chapter by chapter, and that way you're actually able to say, I don't like any of this. I hate it all. Change the art, change the storyline, just throw it in the trash.
The whole thing out.
Yeah, go away, Dirk. And Bob gives it to you in a really rough draft. And then you've already got the idea of the whole story. And then, let's see if this fits. And let's try and work this in. Let's add a little bit more character to this person. For instance, one of the characters of Broken Gargoyle is a little girl that they call Cat Girl. And so we tweaked her image a little bit, added a lisp, because she has a hair lip. And, things like that has to come out in the storyline without it beating you over the head. And, so Dirk and Bob are different, but I still have that consultation with them, and I still edit them that way.
So when you sit down to edit a book, what are you looking for specifically? What are you trying to ensure that the book has to meet your high standard quality?
I have to have the chills. Like how if you're reading a novel and you're like, do I want to pick up the second novel?
Yeah.
What is the readability? And if a book won't be read twice, I don't want to touch it. I want someone to, at the end of the book go, oh, wait, go back to the front and go, that's why this character did that. Right. I see it now. And then they read it again. And, the way Bob got me on Broken Gargoyles was that ending. It was good, this was really good, this is good. Oh, this is amazing. Awesome. And then you go into, issue 2. You want the first issue to grab you. And if it doesn't grab you, no one's going to buy issue 2. And if issue 2 doesn't grab you, no one's going to care about issue 3. They're going to let it go. And you want to know what happens at the end. And with Read 5, we're working on Read 5 right now. People are already invested. Yeah. We're talking 4 volumes, at least 400 pages of content at this point. Volume 5 is going to have at least 100 more. And you got to pick up where Ranibus left off. Right. And he's in a coma. We got to pick that up from the coma and figure out what's happening with Ree. So that was very important to me. That's got to get settled right away, though. You can't drag that out. You got to have him in that coma and figure out what's going on.
So I actually think that's really interesting because I think sometimes you read a story or you watch a television show or whatever, and that kind of thing that you just talked about could be the arc for the whole season, right? And so why do you choose to do that a little differently?
I guess if we go to television, you've got a scene, and let's say they're holding flowers, and in this one scene, it's red flowers, and the next scene there's blue flowers and with the red, and it drives me nuts. And I'm like, why can't someone got paid and let that go through? I cannot stand that. I hate that. And there's certain times when I'm like, yeah, no, that's not, he's got fingerless gloves on, you made him full gloves. You got to change it. Oh, well, I drew the whole thing. I don't care. Wow. Redraw it, because, who's going to notice it? I'm going to notice it. If I'm going to notice it, you're going to notice it. Everyone reading it's going to notice it. And it may take you an extra 10 minutes, but, someone's going to own this book for the rest of their lives. Do it right. Show some pride.
That's a deep respect for the consumer.
Yeah, I've been reading comics for 42 years, and I still have every comic that I've ever had for all those years. I have lots. An overwhelming amount, an embarrassing amount of comics, but I love them, and people are like, oh, you should sell that. On whose dead body? If my kids sell those, I'm going to probably come back and haunt them. Like, that stays in the family.
That's actually scary.
Yeah. It's like, oh, don't you touch my ISIS, man. I've got every ISIS from way back in the 70s. And they're in mint, well, probably not mint, because, I read them, and I hug them, and I pet them. They're my preciouses.
I don't know if I've ever heard of someone caressing their comics before, but... So then how'd you get into comics? Where did that love sort of spurn from?
My uncle gave me, I was kind of a sickly child, so I wasn't able to go to school right away. I had to have surgeries and stuff, but I was an avid reader at 4 because I had a tutor at home, and she taught me how to read from a young age. And my uncle gave me the ISIS comic book, and then it was the ISIS Shazam, and then I picked up Daredevil, and then I started reading Green Lantern, and it went from there. I just... had this long, long history with those characters.
Well, you were reading pretty good books at 4 years old.
Yeah. Some of them probably weren't appropriate.
So what made you decide that you wanted to step into comics from the editorial side?
Well, I started off doing screenplays. Okay. And I was given I don't know how to say it, the gift of a comic book movie to read over. And just as here, we know you love this character. Read it. Tell me what you think. And I just went to town on it. And I'm like, oh, this is horrible. You can't do that. What? You can't have somebody be 5'2" when they're supposed to be, 6 feet tall kind of thing. Yeah. And they were like, well, we didn't ask you to edit it. And I'm like, well, you probably should have, because this was not to be arrogant, but it pissed a lot of fans off. Like, what happened? Where did it go from there? And that's when I was like, I want to do this. I want to make sure that when people watch the movie, they're happy with it. And and then I was like, you know what? No, because studios have their own editors. They have their own idea. They have an agenda, but comics don't. So you're able to stick with continuity. Continuity is very important to me. And make sure that it's a beautiful product.
So you talked about how you primarily work with Dirk and Bob Sally. What is it that you enjoy specifically about working with those two creators specifically?
Well, first thing I say when I tell people I work with Bob and Dirk, they always say, I'm sorry. And to me, they're dreams. Like, Dirk is so easy because you get on the phone with them. He calls me up and he's like, hey, boss. And that's important. I am the boss. I boss him around all the time. It's quite awesome.
As you should.
Yeah, he needs it. And we can do the storyline on a 5-minute phone call. And then I get, okay, you're Friday. It's almost Friday. Where's my chapter? And he's like, right on it. Here it goes. And then by Tuesday, I have notes. By next Friday, he's fixed them. He's so quick, and Bob is quick. And you want that for a good turnaround. You don't want to say, I'll get back to you in a month. You want to be able to say, I'll get back to you in 1 week. And then you got to read it, sleep on it, think about it, wonder, will this work? Will this tweak? No, you know what? It's perfect, or whatever. And then you go from there. And they listen, and they hear you. And Bob and Dirk both, if they love something that I don't like, they'll fight for it. And then I'll be like, okay, I get it. That's important to you.
Is there ever a time where you feel that your personal feeling about a particular moment or thing in the book kind of overshadows the creator's vision, or it becomes a clash?
It has a little bit. Like I don't do books where children die. As a mother, I can't do it. And if you're gonna kill a kid, get a different editor. Just because I find it to be a little cliche, like or like the girlfriend in the fridge type stuff.
Right.
Like, come on, aren't we past that? Why can't it be a boyfriend in the fridge at this point? Or like, kill the man. Jeez, stop. They want to tug on your heartstrings, but you got a readership now that you don't need to do that. You can, you don't need to kill people to tug on their heartstrings, But obviously with you kill a lot of people. A lot of people die. The body count is huge, but not with kids. No, I don't do that. And I told Bob the same thing. Like I don't do the kid thing because he was gonna kill a kid in one of the stories. I was like, and no, we're not going to do that. We're going to give her a freaking happy ending, man. It doesn't need to be tragic. Dirk's like, tragic. Kill him. Kill that kid. She don't need to live.
What was Bob's response when you sort of laid that down?
He's like, that's fair. Wow. He's got a lot of fans, and if it's going to like, I would, as a reader, I'd be like, and that was unnecessary, and I wouldn't read. I wouldn't continue to read. That's just me as a reader. I wouldn't read it. Like if they killed one of the Shazam kids, I would have been like, out. Yeah. I don't need that. I don't need that emotional pain. After I cried about it for a year, which I would do.
Is it more difficult to just sit and enjoy a story when you have that in mind, where you kind of just always editing everything?
Because he wouldn't let me read Hope until every issue came out, which was painful. It's like, come on. And then I would read them and I'd be like, I get it. He doesn't want me as editor on Hope because I'm not going to. No, nothing bad like that. Just, it's dark. It's the grittiest, darkest story Dirk has written. And I know you know that because you love Hope.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so it's hard to read it and not go, this is how I would do it. And if I had edited Hope, it would be not a good book. I can say that. Heather has done a great job editing Hope. And, she was the right choice for that book.
Do you think that the role of an editor in comics specifically is appreciated enough?
I feel like Dirk and Bob really appreciate me. And I also think I got lucky. When you find out, this character wasn't even created by the writer, the editor created that, and they get zero credit for it at all. And, you see that a lot at the big houses where, I created this character, I created that character, but zero credit. And these two guys are very on top of giving credit to everyone on their team. And that's important. You can't say, I did this alone. An editor does help. An artist can even offer suggestions. The letterer offers suggestions. And like with Haunted High Ons, Twiztid. I love them. They are so awesome. Like, you don't even need to edit them because they're just perfect. I can't say enough about those guys. Wow. They're perfect. They're like the perfect clients. I love them.
So, last question. When you read for fun, what are you reading today?
Comic-wise? Yeah. Dead End Kids by Frank Gogol, Franklin and Ghost, Garrett Gunn. Anything Casey Pierce puts out, I love. Peter Tomasi. Anything by Peter Tomasi, I am on it. I love him. And I also look at the artists, and Jean Ha, May. I love May. But I also look at the artists. If it's an artist I love, like Aaron Cooter, I'll read whatever book Aaron Cooter is on because I love his art so much. And then there's a comic called World of Grey by Brian Vander that I'm a big fan of. But it's very indie, very hasn't been published yet. And Omar Spy, actually. I like his writing a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, hopefully we can see more of your work. You are an unsung hero of comics, and it's nice to know that behind the scenes of the books that I think are great by Dirk Manning is Drena Jo.
Not all of them. He has a couple. He has Leah Letterman, who's amazing. She does the Cthulhu, Leah. And she also has an anthology out right now called Cafe Macabre. So proud of her. She did a crazy job at that. Like, she nailed every part of that. It's beautiful. And of course, Heather Antos does Hope. But yeah, the rest are me.
So let the people at home know where they can find you online if they want to read your thoughts or anything you have to offer.
Oh, I'm not really that active on social media. I'm on Drena Jo with Twitter. Sorry. Drena Jo. Simple as that. Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Drena Jo. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, as for me, I'm Sean Bartley with the Comics Pals. We are on all the social medias at the Comics Pals. You type that in, you're going to find us wherever it is. Make sure you listen to our podcast. And, of course, subscribe to this channel, like the video, share with your friends. There's so much content from New York Comic Con on our YouTube page. So make sure you guys are checking all that out. And until next time, thanks for watching.